Huge arse.
Huge arse.
Huge arse.
Huge arse.
Huge arse.
Huge arse. Huge arse.
Huge arse.
I love you, Hugh.
Greetings and salutations, this is Huge Arse. And I've been umming and ahhing on this one. It's about Joey Rocha. Last week he had a live stream, which I went on in the chat, and it was Ask Him Anything live chat. I asked him several questions that would be tough for a flat earther to answer, and I got some very interesting responses. But that's not why I've been umming and ahhing on this. Since then, he has put out an awful lot of crap. He seems to consider himself some sort of guru now. So I've been umming and ahhing as to whether or not I just do the video I originally thought, or somehow incorporate all this new stuff. But I've come to the conclusion to incorporate all the new stuff is just a massive video, and that's probably not so entertaining. So let's just have a laugh at all the silly things that he said in response to my questions. What? Who are you pointing at?
I'm going to eat some tacos.
Hey, now you're talking my language.
Did you block Marty Flett on JRE? No way. I love Marty Flett. Marty Flett is my homie. I actually have a man crush on Marty Flett. I would never block Marty Flett. If Marty Flett wanted to take my wife out on a date, I would totally allow him to take my wife out on a date. I have nothing but all the love in the world for Marty Flett. So no, I didn't block Marty Flett. I love Marty Flett. He's legit as shit. So no, definitely didn't.
Legit as... Usually that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. And you'd let your wife go on a date with someone else? It sounds like you and Marty Flett need to get a room.
See, I make videos, some fun videos, some Q&As, like even this video. I'll delete it in 2 days. So I let them stay up for 2 days and then I delete them. Unless I have an important message, I don't want my videos to just be flooded with hundreds and hundreds of videos because people can't find the good content.
Joey, I suspect even if you lift them up, finding good content would still be a problem.
Unless it's something that I think is pretty worthwhile, then I don't leave it up.
So you're basically saying everything you produce isn't worthwhile. I see.
I've done mushrooms lots and lots and lots and lots of times, and I love mushrooms a whole bunch. Mushrooms is probably my favorite psychedelic.
Well, I'll say the obvious. This explains a lot about Joey. However, of all the things you can take, I think shrooms are one of the least problematic. But the problem I have with anyone taking anything psychedelic is that they then go out. And they're out there on the roads with the rest of us. There's enough bad drivers in the world without those high on shrooms or whatever joining the fray. I want to get home safe. If you do this, stay at home for God's sake.
But I love shrooms. If I had shrooms right now, I'd take them. Right this second. Right live with you folks. Live. I would be eating shrooms. You guys would see me have a psychedelic experience right here live in front of everybody. I mix my psychedelics. I mix cannabis, shrooms. Should I say the other psychedelics that I use? Yeah, I should. I don't actually condone acid, but I don't mind taking acid, even though I don't condone it. It's really strange that I should say that. But, in like one tab, that's about it, because I don't like having a bad trip. But I don't really recommend acid to anybody because there's natural psychedelics. I recommend those.
Look, to each his own is my attitude, but I know at least some of those things are illegal, and to go live on YouTube and publicly declare that you take them, probably not a smart idea. And I know you have a little daughter. What sort of example are you setting her? So then he engages in a bit of conspiracy-fueled nuttery and eventually gets around to my question. He ignored the first question I posted, and so I asked him again, what does he think of the South Celestial Pole? Strap yourselves in for this one.
Hugh Jars says, no thoughts on the South Celestial Pole. Hugh, there is no South Celestial Pole. If you're talking about flat Earth and comparing it to the globe, see, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, Joey, well, when they're talking to me, trying to debate me on the globe. First of all, if anybody ever wants to debate me on a globe, even though I don't talk about flat Earth as much as I used to, I can crush anybody. I've been debating fools on the flat Earth for 7 years. I debated people like Robert Sungenis, who has a PhD. I've debated so many people and crushed them. You see, so the South Celestial Pole does not exist. Take the globe and smash it, right? And then there's the flat Earth. Now turn it around, and guess what you see? No continents. All you see is the Antarctica, right? And that's supposedly where the South Celestial Pole is. There is no South Pole. The stars don't go in a different direction at the South Pole. It's a hoax. Here's the real quick version of it. You know, when you see the stars going in the opposite direction in the South Pole, supposedly, even though nobody can go there, right? But the videos that they show us on National Geographic, well, here's the trick to it. It's just a stupid trick. All they do is they play the video in reverse. You want to know how I figured this out? Okay, well, you know, whenever they're filming it and you see the stars going the opposite direction, you're like, whoa, wow, they're going the opposite direction in the South Pole. Well, they also show a few vehicles on the road. And a lot of their videos, I don't know why, but you can still see, because they're on the ground, you can still, as they're panning around, they show vehicles that are driving on the road. And here's the telltale sign. You can see that it's being played in reverse because you can see, you know how cars have a reflector light in the back? You can see that reflector light going, showing that it was played in reverse. It's not forward. So that's all they did for the South Celestial Pole, to trick people. Anybody who gets tricked into seeing the stars go the opposite direction of the South Pole has been hoaxed and tricked. There is no South Pole. There's a flat, motionless Earth, and there's north in the middle. That's a magnetic north. Everything else is south. What's not north is south of it. We call it east, west, whatever. Those are just opposite directions from north. Good question.
I don't really need to say anything, do I? I mean, if any of that made sense or seemed remotely credible, perhaps you should cut back on the shrooms. Anyway, I followed up saying that the rotation of the stars do go in that way. It's got nothing to do with reversing the film or anything like that, but he misread the question. I'll include it here for completeness.
Hugh says, yes, they do. I have to go outside to see it here in Australia.
And again, he misread what I wrote. Anyway, what Joey doesn't understand is I filmed the South Celestial Pole. Here it is. This was filmed with my camera by myself in my backyard. If anyone in Australia or New Zealand or South Africa or South America can do the same. That's an awful lot of potential data points that you have to refute. So I decided to press him at this point.
Hughes Jars says, what's your email or Discord so that I can send you my picture of the South Celestial Pole that I took from my backyard? You're going to have to take a video, not a picture, because a still picture wouldn't prove anything. You're going to have to take a video, and it's going to have to be time-lapse so I can see the stars going in the opposite direction.
So like a typical flurf, he picks one word and latches onto it like a lamprey. Picture. Well, most people would have said, yes, obviously I mean a video. The whole point was to show that the stars rotate in the different direction to the northern hemisphere. But you latched onto it anyway. And still, he didn't tell me his contact details. So he wants to see this video, but he won't tell me how to get it to him. Let's continue.
Hughes Jars says, it's time-lapse. Great, Hughes Jars. I'll be looking forward to seeing it.
He's looking forward to seeing it, but he still hasn't told me how to get it to him.
Hughes Jars says, Joey, how do I send it to you? Send it to me at my email, Michaela48@yahoo.com, and I'll put it here for anybody else who wants to send me stuff. Michaela 48 at yahoo.com. There you go.
About bloody time.
Hugh George says, thanks, you're welcome.
So at last I got some way of sending it to him. So I did. It's now nearly 2 weeks since I did so. No response whatsoever. So much for looking forward to it. He also went off about some other things. He says that people who are lactose intolerant can drink raw milk, that Alcoholics Anonymous is a cult, of course the coronavirus is a hoax, and that Black Lives Matter is evil and is run by a Marxist, which might actually be true, but whether or not it's evil, that's a matter of opinion. And strangely enough, he does not believe in Bigfoot. How about that? A conspiracy theorist who doesn't believe in Bigfoot. But by far the worst thing he said was about vaccines.
Hughes Jar says, are vaccines safe? Absolutely not. My daughter is 4 years old, born at home, no flu shots, no vaccines ever, never been to the doctors, not even once, never been sick, healthy as can be. Vaccines are a lie, they're a hoax, they cause autism and many other spectrum disorders. No vaccine is good for you. People say, well, what about the polio vaccine? No, the polio vaccine will give you polio. Trust me, no vaccine is good for you. 0 vaccines is the only way to go. 0 flu shots, 0 vaccines. Never let it something be injected into your arm that's a vaccine or a flu shot ever. None of them.
Now, I don't need to debunk any of that, surely. I mean, surely there are adults in the world today have enough information to know that vaccines are perfectly safe, and the only person who suggests that autism is linked to it has turned out to be a bit of a fraud anyway, and he's been disbarred from the medical profession. Yet somehow people cling to that one thing that says what they want to believe. And I truly despair for Joey's daughter here. It's just very sad. I hope that she somehow gets through to adulthood without having to suffer any particular disease that could have easily been prevented by a vaccine. Anyway, I've had enough of this. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you like what I do, share it amongst all your friends, and tickle the notification button if you want. That way you should be notified when I upload new content. Keep a lookout for me when I'm on a live stream as a guest, and I'm regularly on the NASA Black Site Area 69 live stream. I've got a lot more to say, but that can wait till another time. But for now, nothing left to do but cue the corgi.
You're despicable.
Hugh Jars says, I love Hugh Jars and I cannot lie.